Welcome to Podcrushed. I am with you today, joined by only 50% of my co-hosts.
Yeah.
That would be the old checks notes.
How do you say your name again?
Yeah, it's hardly ringing a bell anymore.
Yeah.
Naval?
Could never get that right.
Navicavlin.
Woohoo!
What I hear,
Yeah.
the word on the street is that today is a very special day for any true crusherino.
Yeah.
Crusherunski, because it's a deep cut here.
Mm-hmm.
Our sort of fourth, he's the elephant in the room sometimes. Sometimes he's the skeleton in the closet.
Sometimes the floating image over us above our heads.
Right. Tommy Kavlin, Nava's dad, super charismatic dad, who we've shouted out a number of times and in a number of ways. It's his birthday today.
Yay! Happy birthday! We love you, Tommy.
Happy birthday! I would sing a song, but it's
instead of a song, in honor of my dad,
Yeah.
I want you to tell your favorite joke that my dad has ever told you to the podcast listeners.
So Tommy is he's truly from another time and place because he tells jokes like in a way that I don't want to denigrate the comedy, but it's like they shouldn't be funny, but he is phenomenal. His delivery is
It's what makes you laugh. Yeah.
I laugh harder with him than anyone I can think of, truly.
That's so sweet.
And his jokes are good, but then I get nervous to tell them myself because it is really
Because you're not Tommy Kavlin. But we'll see. You'll do your best.
I'm not Tommy Kavlin. So yeah, I'm going to try here. This is, and if you got kids in the room, this one's not for the kids.
Yeah.
But it's not that bad.
Walk them out.
Walk
them out.
Yeah. So there's a supernatural convention, lovers of the supernatural, of every sort and kind, the paranormal, right? Mm-hmm. And the charismatic, quasi-cult-like leader of the convention greets everyone, introduces themselves, and says, I want to know who here has ever seen a ghost? Show of hands. Raise your hand if you have seen a ghost. And a surprising number of hands go up. And before they can share their stories, he says, okay, I want to know who here has smelled a ghost.
Ooh.
And fewer hands raise, but a good number. He says, all right, okay. I want to know who here has ever touched a ghost. Still fewer hands raise, but there's, let's say, 8. And then he says, okay, all right, we're not done yet here. I want to know who here has tasted a ghost. And a few uncertain looks, but still, we get 5 hands going straight up. He says, all right, this might strike you as odd, but I'm going to ask one final question. Who here in this room has ever engaged in sexual intercourse with a ghost? And there's a murmur in the crowd. Disbelief, shock. And finally in the back, one tiny little hand raises up. It's wavering, but then it becomes firm. And so the leader marches with his microphone down the aisle, the spotlight following him, and it lands on this man. And he says, sir, am I to understand that you have had sexual intercourse with a ghost? And he looks up at him and pushes his glasses up and says, oh, ghost? I thought you said goat. See, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't. It didn't work.
It's cute. When Tommy says it, it's an old man. So he's like a little old man.
An old man.
But
yeah, that's what I left out the
your
old.
Version works. Your version works. I liked it. That was very good.
I'm definitely not a joke
Respect.
teller. I'm definitely not a joke teller of that kind. This is why Tommy Kavlin is he's the goat. Actually, he's the goat.
Not the goat that the man had sex with,
No.
but the goat. Yeah. Just to clarify.
Tommy is probably right now, he's just like, this is not funny at all. I am horrified. This is how I'm being introduced.
So today we are joined by Penn's old pals, Aly and AJ Michalka, the pop rock sisters who you know from their early days singing hooks that blew up on Disney radio and their more recent era of delicate indie-leaning alt pop. If you don't know them, you are about to know AJ because she is going to be in the upcoming season of White Lotus, the one set in France. Cannot wait, literally. So excited. Last year, Aly and AJ released Silver Deliverer and its companion EP, More Silver. intimate records that they made in the hills of Topanga. And they have been busy since. Their recent headline run raised over $100,000 for every town for gun safety. And they just announced the Places to Run 2026 tour, a 40-date sprint from Charlottesville to Anaheim, capped off with a Bonnaroo set in June. I'm going to be at the Anaheim show. Come, let's meet. Let's say hi. We loved having them on. It felt like talking to old friends. Like we were all just like sitting in their kitchen, getting to know each other. It was so nice. They're so friendly and sweet and down to earth. We loved having Aly and AJ on. It was like being in their kitchen with them, hanging out with our own sisters. So fun. You're going to love this episode. Stick around.
Welcome to Podcrushed. We're your hosts. I'm Penn.
I'm Nava.
And I'm Sophie. And I think we would have been your middle school besties.
Planning elaborate pranks on the principal's office. Shh.
We do typically start at 12. What's good with you guys, I mean, as far as we're aware, you must have been making music together when at least one of you was 12 years old, right? Like, I don't know. So
Correct.
we want to hear like the sort of the lead up, this snapshot of you guys before you signed, because that was squarely in your adolescence. But then I think we also what we usually want is just like the everyday snapshot of 12. And of course, you're not the same age, you're not twins, so you have different experiences, different times, and it might relate to each other differently. So I don't know. Should we start with oldest, youngest? I don't know how to do this. I've only done it once before, and I think it was with the Jonas Brothers. So I don't want to be political here. Do you want to do rock, paper, scissors for it?
You're one amoeba. So
Okay. All right. So we'll just start with the oldest because you were 12 first.
that's great. I was 12 first, and
Yes.
AJ at that point was 10.
Yeah.
And-
So just like a snapshot of daily life, and then also, like, were you already writing together? Like what was your relationship together at that point?
So at 12 and 10, we were back living in California after living in kind of a suburb of Seattle, Washington, and we moved back to
Wait,
LA.
which suburb?
Woodinville.
Woodinville. I did not want to remember, but I lived
I have
in
a good
Washington
friend
State
who
for
grew up
4
in
years.
Woodinville.
Oh, funny.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's not very far from like Bellevue.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, there for 7 years.
Yeah.
But at the time Aly was
All right.
12, we were back in LA.
Our like childhood was really like spent there. But we were back in LA and we were living like Deep Valley at this point. We were in Newbury Park. And we were
Writing.
writing. Yeah. But I'm trying to think if we were homeschooled yet at that point.
Yeah, we were.
I think we were homeschooled at that point.
Yeah.
And we were in the business, but like at this point, I had not booked my first job. I did not have my SAG card. AJ did. She was working. She was crushing. She was cute as hell. She had no braces.
And you did?
And I did. And I was still kind of shy, and I was still like finding like who I was. But music was really our like thing together. Music and acting class.
Yeah.
Was just our whole life. And that was what we looked forward to every week, was whether it was our, piano and vocal lessons, or it was our acting class, which we would drive into, which was in Van Nuys.
Like twice a week.
Yeah. And so that was just everything that we looked forward to. It was really around entertainment, which is funny. But at this point,
Was it Young Actors Space by any chance?
Yeah. Young Actor Space.
Yep.
I went there.
that was it.
What?
Yeah, Van Nuys. I was just thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was your...
Was Diane still there then?
Diane Harden Hill.
She's not
Yeah.
still
She's not
there,
there anymore.
Oh, well, I
but-
know. Yeah, she's...
but
passed,
she's
right?
alive, which is amazing.
Quite old.
She
yeah.
is?
Yes.
Are you sure? Because I just sworn I was doing research for something and I looked her up and are you serious?
I'm pretty sure as of the last year,
Wow.
I know she did like a reunion with people.
Oh, amazing. Okay, great. Then
But we can fact
But it
check.
sounds like you're dead to her because you were not invited to that
Yeah, I mean, I
reunion.
called her
No.
repeatedly and I mean, her voicemail even said, sorry, I've died.
I don't worry about
I don't want Ben telling us this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was
Wow.
our teacher, and so was Patrick Day. It was kind of the two of them
Okay.
for like many years, actually. And at this point, we were writing music, but we weren't like, I don't think we were in the point yet where maybe we were just picking up guitar, or like we were in the next year.
I was going to say, how old were you when we started?
Like 13, I think.
Yeah.
13 and 11.
11.
At this point, we were playing piano, and we were doing some writing with other producers, I think, and kind of making like demos. I mean, it was janky, you know?
But it's not like in your basement in Wisconsin.
Correct.
So like I'm actually. So can you give us like the how we what got you how early on did you move to LA? Like for the first time?
I think so. We were born in Los Angeles, but then moving to Seattle, that was 7 years of our childhood. And so we moved back to California by the time we were 9 and 11.
And was that explicitly to start these careers?
No.
No.
It was because of our dad's business. And he had been commuting for many years back and forth from California to Seattle.
For 7 years.
Oh, that's
Wow.
crazy.
This is mentally.
It was crazy. And then my mom's parents ended up passing, which was kind of still holding us in Washington because they lived in Washington State. And at this point, we had done some legitimate like acting workshops in Seattle, which were not like John Robert Powers, shocking.
Right,
but
right.
They were legit.
But they were absolutely legit, and we got kind of like
Seattle has a good thing for that because that's where I did it too. Yeah.
oh, interesting.
Was it Northwest Studios by chance?
Actually, you saying that sounds very familiar, but no, I don't know. I don't think so.
Because if it was Northwest Studios plus Young Actor Space, it was
That's
Freaky.
too much.
crazy.
So we got scouted, and then nothing kind of came of it because we were just like, well, we live in Seattle still, you know.
This means nothing.
So this means nothing, but this was really fun. And then when I think my parents started talking about like, I think we like sell the house, we move and relocate back to California.
To be close for
We
you.
were kind of like, wait, isn't that the place where we could be actors? You know?
Place where dreams come true?
Yeah, right.
And so like,
Yes,
oh.
all of them.
So I think we kind of started in the like modeling space, and it was a lot of like catalog work, and then it was like commercials for AJ, and then she started booking like some TV stuff, and then really
We didn't move because of the industry.
we didn't move because of the industry, yeah.
Right.
But then everything really happened once I booked this Disney Channel show, which kind of was like the start of everything, which then was like a domino effect of us getting signed as artists and putting out the first record, and so that's the start.
I do want to add something to Aly's 12-year-old self. We met our very best friend when Aly was 12 and I was 10. So that is like a marker in time that is like
That is
forever special and kind of embedded in our life.
And we met them at
Young Actor Space. So I was 10, he was 11, Aly was 12. And so just now that I'm thinking of the age 12, I'm like, oh, wow, that's how we met Raymond, was that was the time in life when you met Raymond. And he's our best friend to this day. It's been 24 years.
Wow.
That's
You're so united. You're
Yeah.
so like
Our
and-
best
but-
friend, even.
Yeah, but you're doing it in a way that isn't even like I don't know. That's interesting because you don't necessarily always have that with siblings.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you're close.
Yin and yang, but we, I think, complement each other,
Yeah.
and we have our differences, but we are very a united front.
We are. That's really sweet. I like that.
What would you attribute that to? I mean, is it just always how it's been? Is it like kind of never really was any other way, or
It was never any other way. I mean, I
Really?
really don't know how that even came to be. I mean, I do want to like commend our parents for
must be your parents in
nurturing-
some way?
Yeah, for nurturing a relationship and fostering a friendship with Aly and I from a really early age. Like it was very much like your sister's number one, you know, and that was something that they fostered at a really young age. So I do think that has, I don't know, I think that that's always been with us, that mentality that it's like, this is my partner in crime, this is my number one, this is my best friend, this is my sibling, this is my blood, but this is also who I get to work with. Like it's a blessing. But it is weird. Like we never didn't have that. So
Yeah, and we were always like just
we did everything together.
everything together, and like everything was a game. Everything was, going to dinner with our parents was a game. Reading a menu was a game. Ordering just like ordering. I mean, literally every single thing my parents would say, "Oh, these kids just won't stop." But I mean, in a way, I think that made us really close, and a lot of our childhood was very imaginative in its like play and its like the way that I think we bonded was going out in the backyard and like playing these games and Barbies and I mean we were just those kids that just like you could leave us for like 5 hours and they're like they've been playing this damn game for like the whole day, but
That's awesome.
you're good.
Yeah, very content.
That is truly incredible. Because I have a sister too, but she's 3 years older than me, and then we have a brother who's 2 years older than her. So they kind of like banded together. Now her and I are inseparable in a lot of ways, but it took her leaving the house, actually. So hearing about two sisters who have just like from the get-go been so tight, it's really sweet. I have
It's
a
really
daughter, and
triggering
I'm
for Sophie, I think, actually.
triggering and hopeful. No, I have a 2-year-old and I'm pregnant with another girl, and so I'm like, please let this be like Aly and AJ.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I think it can be. I mean, I think obviously
Not
not that,
start with the parent.
yeah, it starts with the parent.
You'll have to fight all the generational trauma, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
You're going to have to fight everything that's in your blood
Everything
that's
I know.
saying, no, 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 no.
And I think on top of it also, like, obviously being somewhat close in age, that helps. You know what I mean? I think you can be close with your sibling later in life if there's a larger age gap. But I do think, like, because we had a lot of stuff that was just in common, and we had a lot of friends in common, like we shared a lot of friends, you know, there's very few friends that are in our own separate groups,
true.
even now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's
Like,
true.
So it's yeah, I think it's just something that we just kind of had from day one. And I don't know if that's because our personalities kind of mesh. Like I was a little shyer, AJ was more outgoing. I always joke that like AJ knew my Subway order, so she would like go into the Subway shop and she'd go what she wants, and it was like I didn't even have to say anything, and I was like, she's right. So like, you know, she's just like, we just know each other in that way. And then I think as I got older, I became a little bit more of the older sibling. Like when I was younger, I felt like our roles were reversed.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I do.
AJ was really like acting.
I still think we switch every now and then.
We do. But like when we were younger, you had more like older sibling energy. And I was kind of like the little sister that just was like more shy and kind of would just like roll with you. Like,
But we're also both Aries, so maybe that is a part of it, being the same.
You're born in the same month.
So you guys are exactly 2 years apart.
Yeah, exactly.
we're like 2 years and 2 weeks.
So we're actually Ally's end of March, I'm beginning of April. So we're not the same month, but we're both in the Aries world.
Interesting. And then so AJ, what was your 12-year-old life like? Would you add anything to that?
I booked my first TV show at 12. So I was on a drama on CBS called The Guardian that David Hollander had created, with Dabney Coleman and Simon Baker. I was the only kid on the show. And it was a really heavy, heavy show. I was on for 2 years and I wasn't allowed to read any of the scripts. My mom would like black out a lot of things that I just didn't need to know. And I learned everything from that set. I mean, Dabney,
From Farrah and Dabney.
Farrah Fawcett was on the show. She played my grandmother. I learned a ton from her. Dabney Coleman played my adopted father. He was a mentor for many, many years. And then I reconnected with him later in life as an adult. And we would go out to dinner together and just talk about life and the industry. And he just, a mentor for years. And he sadly passed away a couple years ago at 92. And he was just an amazing spirit in my life. So at 12, I can say like I met, you know, my first great mentor.
It's amazing.
And was on that show for 2 years and became really close to the creator, who's still a dear friend. And then I feel like that's really the start of the guitar playing for me. You know, I think we might have bought our first guitars at 11 and 13. Well, not ourselves, but our parents, you know, got them for us for Christmas. And then at 12, I think I really started diving into learning basic chords. And then at that point, that really inspired the writing. Like Aly and I just started writing.
Like the piano playing felt like it was more separated from the songwriting. It was like I play the piano and I
It
sing.
didn't like activate you as
Right.
No.
And the
Little
guitar,
artists.
for whatever reason, was like, I'm writing songs. And it's like with like 3 chords, you know?
Yeah.
So that really, I think, activated, you're right, around that age. And then the funny thing about, if I think back to this age, 12 and 10,
I got my period at 12.
AJ got her period at 12. That's true. Before Aly, actually, I was,
really.
which was very unsettling, and I was very disturbed by.
Contentious. She's like, you're a woman. I'm not.
Yeah,
I was sobbing.
she was like so upset. And if I think at this time, I remember us sharing a bedroom, which is funny because most of our childhood we had our own bedrooms, and then in our teen years we had our own bedrooms. But there was literally like 2 years from like 10 to 12 where we shared a bed, and it was like the coolest room that was just like limited to blow up couch, you know, those lights that you can like, you know, you can hit the little lamp and it like spins
Like
and-
the most Y2K bedroom of all time.
of all time.
Wow.
And we shared a queen bed with all of our stuffed, really all of AJ's stuffed animals. And
I sleep with 24 stuff.
I'm not kidding you. I had to make her like, this is what's really funny about this age specifically is AJ had so many stuffed animals that I would be like, AJ, I can't sleep in this bed. There's too many stuffed animals. we need to make a schedule for the stuffed animal. So they're going to have a schedule throughout the week. So on Monday, you sleep with these 5. Then on Tuesday, you sleep with these 5. Then on Wednesday, these 5. And then on Sunday, be one free-for-all of all of them in the bed.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
It's one of the funniest core memories I have that I was like, I'm sorry, I'm stepping in here. Like, we're making a schedule.
I still have the schedule.
But also
It
that
is a physical.
It was a physical piece of paper that was like, okay, Winthrop was this day, you know.
Winthrop.
You know,
so cute.
you know, Tuffy is this day. Pacey is this day.
Wait, is
They were
Winthrop
all
from Music Man? Is that like a Music Man reference?
So Winthrop is my dearest possession. He is my teddy bear from when I was 6 years old, who I still to this day travel with, and he's on every tour. He's in every plane.
But where did you pull that name from? That name is like a 1920s.
I bought him from a small town called Winthrop. The town is
Okay.
Oh, that's
So as
really
long as you-
cute.
I could think of was like,
It was like in the mountains.
But you're right. It's very old timey to have a kid name their bear Winthrop. Is bizarre.
But Winthrop was like, he was like by far the favorite. Like all the other animals were like, okay.
He got the nightly. Schedule.
Okay.
They had to be separated from.
Yeah. But we were like very,
So that is a big core memory.
we were very happy like cohabitating together. We, you know, we had like our little boombox set up with our like dozen CDs and, you know, a couple posters that our parents allowed on the back of our door. You know, our little piggy bank and our like safe and our little like, you know, diary that had a lock on it. Like it was all that
You
stuff.
had a joint diary?
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay. I was like, all right, this is getting good.
It's like that new show, Pluribus. Like you're speaking in you're like hive mind.
It's like, wait, I actually think this is a problem.
Like you say it, Selfie. Sure.
That's so funny. Well, Aly, why don't we go back to you getting cast on Phil of the Future? Walk us through like the audition process, and I would love to hear a vivid memory of shooting the pilot.
Okay, so well, I feel like Penn, you know Raviv.
Yeah, actually, so Raviv was a very close friend for like a
Nice.
couple of core years in
know.
my mid-20s.
Yeah.
I love
And
Raviv. One of the
also-
sweetest people. Truly,
Unbelievable.
And
ever.
Raviv and I are still really close, and Amy
That's
and I
awesome.
are still close. Which, you know, when you think about like
It's incredible.
those years, it's either like really positive or like really traumatic. And thankfully for me, for whatever reason, it was actually really positive. I remember being in some like acting workshop with Joey Paul Jensen. Yeah,
Oh my God.
Joey Paul
Oh my
Jensen.
God. These are names. Wow. Yeah.
I know.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. And she was just like,
wow, that's more of a blast from the past than I've heard
anything.
maybe in, I don't know, in the last 10 years.
what about Donna
That's
Jean
crazy.
Goldstein?
Do you remember Donna Jean?
Does that sound familiar?
Donna Jean Goldstein.
No, that's not, I don't know.
That was the other thing I had in my pocket. So we were at this workshop and she was like, I really think that you're right for this role in this new Disney Channel pilot. And like, I had auditioned for stuff, but like, I didn't get a lot of callbacks on things. At this point,
You got nervous.
I think I got nervous a lot. And I think I also just was like, I was still like an awkward tween. You know, I was, at this point, I had just gotten my braces off, I think, which was a big moment to feel like I was like really shining. Like I was like, okay, I'm cool, you know? And I think that probably is part of it. Like I had gotten my braces off, I think like maybe not even 6 months before. So when I auditioned, it was just like any other audition. And then, you know, I kept getting like a call back and then it was another call back. And I was like, okay, now you're going to test. And I was like, everybody knew it was like a big deal. Raviv had already been cast at that point. So it was like a mix and match with Raviv. And I came in and I remember thinking like, Raviv's really cute. You know, like he was also 3 years older than me. So it felt like,
She's so cute.
you know, age gap.
He's very handsome.
Yeah, he's still handsome. And he still is.
I mean,
had
like,
such a
he-
crush
as a-
on him when
He's wearing like
Yeah.
a shell choker. You know, it was like those vibes.
Oh,
Michelle,
classic.
Wow. Yeah.
Abercrombie and Fitch days.
Yeah. And
Man.
I just remember being like, wow, this guy's really nice and he's really cute and like I'm nervous and like I hope I'm funny and whatever. So I ended up doing the test. One of the I've said this before, but like long story short, when I did the test, I wore the same outfit that I worn for all the other auditions. And I remember it really specifically for whatever reason. It was like this, like, I think it was like a tiger, like tank top and like a flower in my hair. My hair was like wavy. And they asked me right before the test, like, some of the producers, and it might have even been Gary Marsh too, are asking if your hair could be straight for this. And I'm going, I'm already here. I'm clear. My hair is wavy. Like, it's legitimately like wavy, and there's product in it. And there's like a lady that's like at a desk, and he's like, I have a hairbrush and some pomade, and I can like straighten it out for you.
Oh,
So
no.
I'm sure my hair is so greasy and straight. And
She went to the like Disney Channel, bathroom.
yeah, at
No.
her, I'm like nervous. And my mom, is probably also like, it's fine. You look great, honey. Like, don't worry. And she's like trying to
worst feeling.
straighten my hair in there,
Pomade.
and pomade. Yeah, so bad. And then I got the call, and it was like, I had never stepped foot on a set. That's the funniest part about this all, is that like I got my SAG card from this pilot. And
I like walked Aly through like the main, like, the mark and like what color you'll be assigned a certain color. So don't stand on the mark of another color. Like,
let me walk you through how to read a call sheet.
Yeah.
I felt like
so cool.
silly things.
Meanwhile, I'd already only been working for like, a year, but I was like, this is how it works.
Yeah.
And I just remember at that point, the show was called The Out of Timers. It was not called Phil of the Future. And I remember we had a dance scene as part of the pilot, and it was like a Pink song was playing. And I just remember thinking like, this is really cool. But also in the pilot, a bunch of chickens are running around on the floor. And I was just like, this is weird. Yes, there was a bunch of live chickens because I guess something had
What's the
happened.
concept again? Is it like, why is he Phil of the future? Is he from the future?
So he's from the future, and they're on a family vacation going in the past, and they get stuck in the past and they can't get back to the future.
Oh, the whole family.
The whole family. And I am a kid that he meets in the present day and ends up
Right.
saying, hey, I'm from the future. I'm the only one that knows their secret. And then there's a little,
Okay.
like love relationship between the two of us. But we only ran 2 seasons. It was actually a really short show in the great things.
It was such a cool
That was an era where I think a show could become really iconic to people who watched the Disney Channel, which was like everybody of a certain age. I happened to somehow not be in that window. I didn't watch it. I auditioned for everything in the Disney Channel, everything. But
Were you more of a Nickelodeon guy? What did you watch?
no, neither. I didn't get either. I didn't get either one. I guess I ended up becoming more of a WB guy, which, my skin crawls.
But what did you watch
I
as
say
a
it, but-
kid, Penn?
He read the dictionary.
He's like,
That
watch.
was-
I don't know what it means to watch.
I
I'm
was
only
studying
in.
the thesaurus.
I only asked.
I mean, to be honest,
You watch those
I
channels?
don't remember. I think I watched a lot of movies, maybe.
Like not
Or-
as much
yeah.
TV shows. But like
I didn't.
I feel like the ladies, you guys probably watched like
Well, so I grew up in Puerto Rico and we didn't get the Disney Channel.
Oh, interesting.
So the Disney Channel shows are like an area that I have a total blind spot. But I watched WB. I'm the oldest on this call. I watched 90210, the original. I was obsessed with that. That was like a core teen show. Yeah.
Yep.
I watched all of them. Phil of the Future, That's So Raven, Sweet Life of Zack and
Evens.
Cody. I could keep going, but
So Sophie, you had those shows in the Philippines and in China.
yeah, in the Philippines. So yeah, I grew up in a
amazing.
bunch of different countries, and then when I was in 3rd grade, it's like 8 years old, we moved to the Philippines where they had Disney Channel, and that was a big.
That's
deal.
so crazy that they had it in the Philippines and not in Puerto Rico,
well, I've heard
which
this
is like
from
a U.S. territory.
that have said like I watched the Disney Channel and it helped me even like learn English, because it was like a form of
interesting.
entertainment. It's very sweet. But yeah, so like anyways, I think he turned like students into chickens accidentally or something.
Because he had like a bunch of gadgets. He had all this weird stuff. Yeah.
We're going to have to spend about 30 minutes on Phil of the Future, okay? I'm really trying to
This has become a
understand
Phil of
this.
the Future recap show.
It's now going from Podcrushed to Phil of the Future.
We got to get Raviv on here stat.
No, all this having
We should.
Thank you, Raviv. And by the way, I mean, I don't know how much you guys keep in touch, but Raviv is also a dad, and we became parents. the
What?
same
Oh, I'm
year.
sure he's an amazing. Just for everybody, Raviv is an amazing person.
Yeah.
He's just like he has this incredible glowing quality, right?
does.
Like he's just like such a
right. Yeah.
lovely human. We would back in the day, like in my mid-20s, we would go to his place for Shabbat every Friday, or wherever we were. We would do like maybe a circling friend's house. He would kind of like host it a little
Yeah,
bit.
he was
just made
big
sure
on
it
the
kept
Shabbat
happening.
dinners. I went to a couple of them. And it's funny now, like looking back, because, when we did the show, I was 13, he was 16. And that's like a big age gap for that
Huge,
age. So
yeah.
you feel kind of like, whoa, he's a lot older. But like, Evan Peters was on the show, Brenda Song was on the show. Everybody was older than I was, except for Amy, who was, I think, 2 years younger.
Yeah, she
your age.
Yeah.
And
We're friends with all of them.
and I'm buddies with like most of the cast.
We haven't seen Evan in years.
But like, yeah, one of the producers is like an uncle to me, Matt Dearborn.
That's nice.
It's wild that like that part of your life feels like it was so long ago, but I have very vivid memories. I have very vivid memories of like my room, the schoolroom where I decorated my desk. And
The schoolroom on set.
yeah, schoolroom on
Right?
set. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
that's a thing.
teacher. I was really obsessed with the wardrobe for the show, so I would go in and like plan all my outfits with the stylist. She was like, "Okay, yeah, you can plan next week's like 6 looks or whatever."
Wow.
And
They're so into that.
I was just I was like, I really loved it. I had like my little routine, we filmed at Occidental Studios. So it was quite a drive from like Deep Valley. But my mom would drag me every day and then she would just hang out. AJ, you would sometimes be on set, but I feel like there were times where, you were working too.
Our parents would have to split.
Our parents would split or they'd drop us off, but we had like, a legal guardian there being the teacher. But yeah, it was just a really
And then
fun.
one of the producers from Phil the Future, who we remained really close with, Matt Dearborn, who Aly mentioned, he ended up writing the story for Cowbells. So that original concept came from him. So then that started that.
Which was like the first movie that was
The first movie you did together.
Disney.
Yeah. So around this time, you sign a record deal, right? You were like 15 and 13. Can you kind of walk us?
Yeah, 15
13 and 15.
Yeah, I think so. I think when we put it out, we were like 16 or 14.
Yeah. I think 13 and 15. It all started because Aly, there was a talent show episode on Phil of the Future.
What was it? It was like, no, yeah, it was.
You're at where Raviv is shrunk.
It shrunk down. Freaking weird again.
Please tell us more about Phil of the Future.
No, you're dying laughing. Raviv is literally like Tom Thumb. And
Wow.
and I'm nervous to sing at this talent show. So he's like, Keely, I'll shrink myself down and I'll be on the microphone and I'll help you sing.
So they have every power in the future? Like the humans can just do whatever they want and they brought it with them to the present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like a weird sci-fi family that could do anything. Right. It was like they could make food out of a wand.
It was like they could make meatloaf with like a spray can, Yeah.
Wow.
And
It just keeps getting more interesting
More weird.
and less consistent.
Like we're not far off from that.
so this one episode, I sing a song, and I don't even know how I like had the balls to be like, "Hey, writers and creators of the show, I write music with my sister, and I think I have a perfect song for this episode." They were like,
Wow.
"Okay, that's true." Let me hear it. And I was like, "I have like a really bad demo of it," and they were like, "Well, yeah, send it." I sent it. They were like, "This is literally perfect. We want you to record it, go in the studio, and we'll use it on the show."
Well, just to give context, the lyrics, so the song's called Protecting Me. It's the first song we ever wrote at, I think, 12 and 14, funny enough. And the song is about how we feel our parents are our protectors. Like it wasn't protecting me like a relationship.
So it wasn't about a shrunken Phil. Yes. I'm sure. What are the
you from
chances? It would
embarrassment.
be about your best friend.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
So they were
sorry.
like,
I'm-
wait, this isn't about a friend, but like the context of these lyrics go perfectly with your friend protecting you from the fear and nerves of being at a talent show. So he'll help you sing this song from the little mic. And it was like bizarre. It was.
I love this. I love this so much.
So he's learning, his little voice is shrunken, so he's going, he has a little voice like this.
Yeah, yes, and I like made it tiny.
And he's singing the
Oh
song
my
with her.
goodness. I gotta
It's so
watch this
actually,
later.
and after this, I have to find a way to get a clip to you. 'Cause
Yeah.
you'll be dying. Being that Raviv,
Yeah.
you'll be like.
Anyway, if you
Oh,
read
it's
the
so
lyrics,
good.
you'll be like, oh, I get it. Like it actually does work for this
Yeah.
setting of this show.
And then that was from that moment on, which is, and then we got signed. We got signed, but I think that they were just like,
That's amazing.
I think they were like,
Okay, there's more to it.
we didn't know that Aly was musical at that point. Hillary had like come out with music, but they were like, like what can we do to like cross over? It was the very start of Disney really doing this. I think the only person they had done was Hillary, like literally.
Wow.
So I want to say the next person that was like a direct
Link from a
show was really me and being with AJ. But I think they thought it was just going to be solo. And I was like, no, I'm in a duo with my sister. We've been doing this for a few years. And we write our own music. And
They asked if we would come in.
They asked if we would come in and basically like audition for the label. And we just came in with acoustic guitars and played like 5 songs on the floor.
At
Were
Hollywood
you
Records.
nervous? How did you feel in that audition?
I think we were nervous.
I break a string. We were so nervous.
Oh my gosh.
We had never played. We had never played before standing up, and we didn't really want to play on chairs. So we asked if we could play on the floor. So we played Crisscross Applesauce with our 2 acoustic guitars for like 10 executives at Hollywood Records, because that was the label that Disney owned. And all those songs ended up on the album, which is wild. I mean, these songs are written by children.
And then we had another label meeting with Warner Brothers
The next day.
and we kind of did the same thing. And then we ended up choosing, you know, Disney just because it made sense. And like I was already on a show at that point, and I think they were like the most excited to like be you know, incorporating us on the channel. So
I think Warner Brothers got word and wanted to meet because at the time the guy running it was the son of the guy running Hollywood Records. So it was a bit of a competitive.
Rob Cavallo and Bob Cavallo.
It was like the father and the son who both
Really?
brought different labels, wanted to both take a meeting. It was interesting.
That is almost as interesting as the premise of Phil of the Future.
Totally. Actually, that's a great premise for a show. A dad.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a great premise.
Running
for a
labels
show.
in the early 2000s when like that was, you know,
interesting.
labels were a very
it
relevant.
was everything. It was like that was if you want to be an artist, you had to be signed, you know. It was
Yeah.
So it all started. That's when it all started.
And so, it made sense to go to Hollywood Records after the Disney Channel Connect.
All right. So if you're a parent like me, I'm a father now of 4 boys. If you haven't heard me mention it before, then you're probably not a listener of the podcast much, are you? It's really hit me hard because guess what? I have twins. I have pretty newborn twins. They're just over 3 months old now. And in fact, if you listen closely, you can hear one on my chest right now, sleeping in a wrap, which I love. I love wearing my babies whenever I can, truly. But that means that when they're pressed up against me like this, guess what? There's zippers and buttons on so many baby clothes, on all of them. And when they're pressed up against me like this, it can be kind of uncomfortable for them, depending on, you know, the item of clothing. Some of them more so than others. Now there's this brand, Magnetic Me, that makes this way easier. It's a serious game changer, parents. Really, if you haven't tried these clothes with the easy-to-use magnetic closures, now is the time. So I just got a couple of things. My wife might prefer, you know, one item or another. There's the magnetic romper that I know we like. For me, it kind of doesn't matter. It's the fact that it makes diaper changing a breeze. When it's in the middle of the night, anybody who's ever changed a diaper in the middle of the night, I mean, it can get messy. You need to be able to act fast, you know? This is essential. I actually can't believe it took someone this long to figure this out. Trust me. You need Magnetic Me to make changing time easier for you and baby. If you're a parent or shopping for one for the holidays, go now to magneticme.com. They have the cutest gift boxes to wrap gifts and have anything from baby to toddler. Plus, new customers will get 15% off. Don't wait. That's magneticme.com.
You were maybe the second one to have that link from like a show to a record deal. I feel like it became so ubiquitous.
It became a pipeline.
Yeah.
Once they realized it was a thing that could be done.
It became a pipeline. It's a little strange. It was like a moneymaker, obviously, through the channel. And I think there were some kids that were like, yo, I don't sing. Like, I don't want to do this, you know? And I kind of respect that. Like the Sprouse, Dylan and Cole, I think they were approached and they were like,
No, hell no.
but yeah, after that, it was just like this waterfall effect of like every young girl that was on the channel, they were like, we're going to turn you into a little superstar.
Which I think is a bit I don't know. It wasn't everyone's thing. You know what I mean? So it was a tricky. It's like they were getting offered, you know, record deals, but it was also like they had never really sung before. I mean, no, I don't mean that about everyone. I just mean there was a couple.
Of course.
Like,
I mean, it seems to me like once it was understood like this works.
It was a portal.
It seems like they were kind of trying it out on anybody who it could work on. And some, you know, for instance, there's like Demi Lovato, who incredible powerhouse voice and
totally
so talented. We had her on the show. You know, that's a great case. I mean, she has some tragedy to the way it happened, right? But that's a case of it, quote unquote, working. But then I know that they were just trying to sort of push this sort of thing on probably a lot of people. And you guys seem to then, I mean, maybe this isn't the right way to frame it. I'm interested how you would frame it and how you felt about it. I mean, you guys always, I even remember when I met you years ago on a little film called Easy A. I mean, I met both of you then.
Yeah.
And I met your mom kind of like briefly. And it seemed to me that even though acting has very much always been a part of it, that you're just, I don't know, you carry yourselves as musicians, you think of yourselves as musicians. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I think you're right.
No, I think you're right. I think, yeah, that's interesting that that's kind of how you saw it from even meeting us years ago. I do think it always felt like our musicianship was the start of it all. And like our guitars and our songwriting and our singing is really what, even though Aly, yes, booked the show, which kind of led to the record deal, I do feel like the music kind of in some way started first.
Yeah, and it seems like it really took over at some point. Even though, of course, you would always continue, it just seems to be the thing. It's like, and it's also where you're doing it together, which somehow reflects, just maybe more transparently, more authentically, you as people and you as artists, because you have this powerful connection.
Yeah, we've been joking about the two of you kind of being so in tune with each other and like almost like you're one, but it is really sweet. I heard, Aly, you talk about turning down the role of Hannah Montana partially because you knew it might like solidify you as a solo artist or just like doing your own thing, but you really wanted to be in a duo with your sister, which I thought was so sweet. And the other day I was actually talking with my husband about sibling musical groups. We were talking about like how oftentimes pop groups will get made by just like, Spice Girls, they were kind of like auditioned separately and they
all
formed
related as well. Sorry.
But then we were like, okay, what are some groups that weren't put together by a label, but have like they came together on their own, and all we could come up with were these like sibling groups, and there's so many.
You're so right now.
Yeah, there's like a ton. I then Googled it and I was like, oh wow, even like groups I didn't know were siblings are siblings.
Totally.
Yeah, they're all brothers or sisters.
Yeah. And I'm curious from your guys' perspective, what you think it is about your sisterhood that allows for that like synergy in your collaboration, specifically with music, maybe.
I feel like being in a duo or band in general, there's a lot of egos, obviously, that you have to kind of like mitigate and ride the wave of, So I feel like being in a partnership with a sibling just kind of like softens that a bit. It's kind of like, all my skeletons, like you're going to drive me nuts, whether we're working as, partners in business or not. So I can be real with you. And I don't know, I feel like that's maybe part of the longevity of it, like that it's a family member.
I also think when you're siblings, there's a little bit less ego involved, so it's easier to define people's strengths and weaknesses. Whereas when you're in a band and you're not related, I've noticed some people don't want to admit who has the specific strength and who has the specific weakness, because if they do that, they've kind of now given that strength to someone else and now they can't shine in that way. So I would assume they don't want to be as clear with like, what are you really good at and what am I really good at? Whereas Aly and I, there's no ego in the game. So we're willing to just kind of own whatever that is and move on. Whereas I can imagine like a bunch of male, singers or female singers who aren't related would be like, I don't really want to define
Point this out.
Because then it might make me lesser. It might make me not the lead singer.
And like we always, I think from like when we were young, we tried to make it really like, I think we were more being like, we want to protect the sisterhood. Maybe that was our parents helping with that. Yeah. But it was very like equal. It was like, we tried in the studio to be like, you sing a verse, you sing a verse, The split, the writing is always split, like that kind of stuff. Obviously as you've gotten older now, we're kind of like, look, if you sound great on this song and I should be singing, harmony and just the bridge, like that's fine. But like when we were younger, I think we were hyper aware of that because we knew that maybe we could be sensitive to stuff like that. Yeah. Or my mom knew that we could be sensitive to stuff like that. So I think she tried to be kind of like a mediator and like, you guys are both equal in this, you're both, it's not like one sister is shining and the other one is like in the shadows,
Right.
So I think that was like important.
Yeah. Aly, I'm curious, I think things work out the way they're supposed to, but in the immediate aftermath of Hannah Montana being like such a massive hit, how you felt about your decision?
I honestly did not think twice about it. That's like the funniest part. I mean, Pen, I'm sure you've had your own like instances where, something came your way and you were like, this isn't
I
for
was
me.
pretty bummed I didn't get Hannah Montana, to be honest.
I thought
That was devastating.
no, there was one you were really bummed about, wasn't there? Aragon.
Aragon. Well, the story. No, I wasn't bummed about it, but that was my worst audition ever.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
my worst audition ever. And we had Ed Spaliers on because he was also on my show years later. He played Aragon.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that I think that's just what you're. Yeah, truly, my worst. I actually don't think I remember the story now, but it was for whatever reason, it was just a terrible audition. It's really.
I've had a really bad. The worst audition I ever had was for Spy Kids 2. And I remember this. I was so nervous. I don't know why. It was for the Emily Osment character. You know how the other siblings came in as like a duo.
And we usually didn't really mess up auditions. You were pretty pro.
I just was stuck in my own loop of just hell. I couldn't get the lines out. I just was in a black hole. It was really sad.
We've had a lot of people who've been professionals like all throughout their childhood on. For some reason, you describing that just now actually gave me a shudder. Like just remembering what it's like to audition as a child. Oh my God.
For the child. It's really wrong.
It is.
It's wrong.
It's such a beautiful.
You're kind of sweating and you're kind of your heart's
and you don't. I mean, my the way I contextualize it is like you don't realize how kind of like abnormal it is, and so you actually you're not even appropriately nervous. I think in a way,
Totally.
the way other people thinking about it later as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, all that stuff is so crazy.
Right.
And there's so much stuff that I think we all do that we're not that nervous about.
100%.
But still, just the environment you're in, you're contorting in so many ways, and
The stakes feel so high when you're that age. And now when I audition, I'm like, all right, if it's not mine, it's not mine. If it's supposed to be mine, it'll be mine.
Exactly.
Like I just have such a different way of looking at the auditioning process now. And when you're younger, you don't even have the capacity to realize that like this is not the end all be all. Like this literally is not going. Like I would think every audition was going to make or break my career in some weird way.
Totally, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
We also don't have the like calming mechanisms of how to kind of like vibe. Yeah. You know what I mean? In the way you're a child. So it's like, what do you know about stress management? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And you already think like your hair will make or break your life. And actually in the case of an audition, it might make or break the you getting the role.
Totally.
And so just all the things about being 12 or 15 or whatever it is like it really is true in an audition. You're being judged so superficially and by adults.
Yes.
And by adults who seem powerful.
yes,
You know?
that's the thing. You're being judged by adults. Like Aly not booking because she had braces was an adult's decision. Like that was someone saying,
when I was needing to play a child.
right,
Which I was.
Yeah.
Like, hi, I am the kid that has braces just like all these kids out here.
that represent braces kids. Like it is such a weird, it's just weird how many times I have this like, it just gives me like goosebumps. I have this visceral moment of being 10, 11, 12 and being in like our mom's car and our manager calling being like, we're so sorry it's not going further.
Like, and AJ, by the way,
Hearing it's not going further,
this so many times, actually like a lot of big jobs where you're kind of like,
big. Where it was like me and another girl or me and two other girls.
or it's like you read with Kate Blanchett, you know, you read with like, big, like heavy hitter type vibes where you're like, yeah, if you booked that, very well could have changed the trajectory of where you are in your life, you know? So, I mean, I'm getting like secondhand PTSD just hearing it because I remember hearing the phone calls being like, she can't hear this news again, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so hard. As you guys are having your burgeoning pop star careers, you're, booking shows, you do a movie together. What's happening in your love lives? Like what's happening with like first big crushes, first big infatuations? How are you navigating that?
I mean, all of our first big crushes were like, people that weren't tangible, like people that we weren't, it was like Aaron Carter, is my first big crush. Like it was never going to be someone that we, like, I don't even think, you remember very late to the date.
We were very late to like dating, like, crush. I mean, we had crushes, but it was like very like, we were not like boy crazy kids, which I think my parents got very lucky with.
I mean, I'm trying to think first.
But like first, like
I met a guy at Disneyland when I was 13.
13, maybe, yeah.
And we
At Disneyland? Like out in the wild, you met?
Out in the wild.
That's so funny. Like that's like a 13-year-old's version of being picked up at a bar.
Oh, Wild at Disneyland is amazing.
I think it was like we were there for an event was happening. It was a red carpet.
And he was an actor. He was an actor. I think
We were there with our best friend Raymond, and we had
Okay, this
Raymond
is a different picture now.
So it was an actual bar. There was an open bar.
there was an open for sure, as there was at all these events. Didn't matter what age you entered. And we literally met going on rides. And we started holding hands, and it was like, let's go on Space Mountain, and now let's go on Snow White. I'll go on Peter.
Right,
and
right,
Aly
right,
and
right.
Raymond were behind me going.
You're having your like before sunset, or what are those before?
I had never had a relationship at this point, so I also was like living vicariously through her, being the older sister, being like.
And did you know like this isn't gonna last past Disneyland? Like we're just gonna enjoy it.
No,
while
I
we-
totally thought we were going to be together for a couple years at least. Like, so he was an actor who was on like, I'm not kidding, like an international press tour. I had no idea who he was, and then found out later, like he was literally doing press for
For like a huge
film.
blockbuster film.
Never really worked again after that, but had like a moment in time where it was like, holy crap. And then fell for him
So he was
really.
like, I'm here for but one night.
And then I'm on my way to Tokyo.
I'm going to Paris tomorrow, my love.
That was very Princess Bride. That was very Princess Bride.
We wrote a song about this encounter.
Really?
Yeah, and he wrote 2 songs about it. So him and I became pen pals while he was on this international press tour. His parents,
my goodness.
His parents then split us up. I'm not kidding you. I got a call on my landline, my mom's landline. My mom was like, "Hey, you have a call," and it was his dad being like, "He's too busy. He can't have this." Like,
Talk about
This is actually the plot of a movie. The international. No, this is the
His
plot
life-
of a movie. That's a Disney movie. That's
Totally.
crazy.
And he's distracted. His life's about to change. This is going to lead to many things for him, and he can't be dating right now. I mean, it was just like insane.
It's also like they're 14 and like 16. It's like
As a
to
grown
have
man
that
and a father, I don't understand. Wouldn't know how to say to a 14-year-old girl. I cannot fathom saying any of this to a 14-year-old girl.
No, the craziest part about this is that you had a conversation.
It's not going forward. Am I right?
no, you're right. It was psychotic. It was psychotic.
He called our mom's phone. It's not going forward. That was the next.
moving forward.
Wow.
And so
Oh
she was
my God.
It was heartbreaking.
And we were in the middle at this point of writing first album. So that song went.
So it just went right on. Yeah.
And the song of their breakup.
So there's 2 songs. Something More, which is about us meeting at Disneyland, and then the song Out of the Blue, which is about the breakup and how it ended. And so those 2 made the record. So
So
that was
good.
my first. That was 13. That was
And
really
then you had a couple, boyfriends, I would say, or like, whatever you call a relationship at that young. I
I think Joe would have been the first.
like really like actual serious.
Joe Jonas,
year and a half.
Yeah, that was like the
Oh,
first.
Joe Jonas, you say?
just casually.
That was the first like
Oh,
no thing.
if you want to share.
And I feel like I feel like I've talked about this so many times now because people have asked that I feel like you guys could use all these canned answers from separate interviews and just mold them.
Yeah, we'll clip something
right.
together.
We'll just use AI to handle the rest. I want to hear about Phil in the future. Can we please go back?
I go back to Phil.
Wait, no, I have to ask you a salty. Is it a petty question? Did he break up with you over text?
That's petty. No,
Or
that's
did you
petty.
break up with him? No, it's because he famously broke up with Taylor Swift over text, and she out.
No, we didn't break up
The
over
text was like over a phone call.
Yeah, it was over a phone call.
He and Taylor Swift dated?
Yeah, and she outed him on Ellen for breaking up with her. Oh no, he broke up with her on like a 12-second phone call or something.
Something really
But
short.
she
That's
called him
right.
out for it.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's not how this went down. I feel like it was a very sweet, amicable. I know that sounds crazy at that age, but it was sweet, and I think it was mutual.
Like you guys have been together for like a year, which is actually pretty long for.
That's a long
That's
time.
that's a
long time.
respectable,
Yeah.
Well, we had also toured together, so it's like we had, we got to know each other on the
Okay.
roll, and so that's how
All right,
it
that's cool.
started. Was
And at this point, I was still solo. I was still single. I only had one encounter with a boy. So I would just
Wow.
this
Aly was very late
Yeah.
to be.
yeah.
The first time that you came on my radar was in the show Hellcats. Great show. And you're like a very feisty, confident cheerleader. So my impression of you has always been like super feisty, super confident. So this is all like surprising to hear. Like I had a very different picture.
Well, that's
of
fine.
It's actually true in Easy A as well. You're like super
Right.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, really sexual, feisty.
Yeah, I was not like that at all as a teen. I ended up having probably like my first like relationship around like 16, and that was a very like big deal.
That's a healthy age.
I think that's actually like the right age. You know, it's not that late, but in the grand scheme of things, when kids are like, you know, sexually active at like 13, kind of like, wow. So, I mean, I remember being like, I need to like drive on freeways so that I can meet up and hang out and go on dates with this guy. So like, I really got to like not be scared about that, you know, like
about driving on freeways.
Wow, that's how you got the
No, I'm
courage
serious. I'm just trying to that is interesting because like I also turned 16 living in LA, and it is like when you're just thinking about how to get somewhere and the stakes of like I'm meeting a boy. Like I can imagine
like, I'm going
that's
to
real.
Santa Monica. Like I live.
I'm gonna have to change 5 lanes on the 405. Like
true.
that's
you did a big deal.
You did all
intense.
that guy.
Yeah. And then you're like feeling like, you know, really cool that you like drove out, you know.
Totally.
It's empowering to drive from Calabasas to San.
It is empowering.
Yeah.
It's empowering.
And
listening to K-Rock, you know, at the same time.
Oh yeah.
You know?
She's just like cranking rock music, and she's just like heading to Santa Monica. She's like,
Absolutely. Just to go on a date. I'm an adult.
Right. I'm an adult. We were really good kids, like growing up. Like our parents didn't really have any problems with this. We were not kids that were like sneaking out of the house.
They got really lucky.
They got very lucky. And I try to remind them, I'm like, you know, that's not normal. Like, I know you wasted a little bit of that, but
They're also good parents.
I'm like, but also like we were just born that way too. We weren't like wanting to give them a heart attack, you know, every 5 minutes.
Do you feel like they were strict? Like, you would have obeyed them, it sounds like anyway, but did they have strict guidelines and rules for you?
We didn't really have like a curfew, I don't think.
Yeah,
Did that really exist?
I think we did either.
I mean, it was weird.
They were strict.
They were strict in the right ways, but like we were also kids that like, I mean, this sounds ridiculous, but Ben, you're gonna know this era. We were kids that were going to like Ledoux, not drinking, having like Red Bulls, way underage, and the guys that ran the club knew us and were like, they're fine. Like we trust these kids. Let them hang and dance with their friends.
They were like the 78 other underage actor kids in here. They're a fucking mess. But keep them here.
Aly and AJ.
So like there was that too. Like my parents.
You know what's funny? I don't think I ever went to Ledoux. I was somehow like, I'm a bit older than you guys. I think I might have been out of the picture. I think I might have been in New York. I remember the name Ledoux. I did Club 17 like from 15 to 16, but then by the
we only
time
won a couple times.
Yeah, that's a bomb. That's a bomb place. Wait, did you do Teddy's?
Teddy's. Okay, so you know what? I'm just realizing I didn't go out then either.
Wow.
No, all my friends. Now I'm remembering. All my friends would talk about Ledoux and Teddy's. Why didn't I go out? Why didn't I do it? I don't know.
You know who we would go out? I'm gonna drop a great name. You know who we would go out with?
Who?
Dan Bird.
Oh, you know, I was actually gonna say Dan Bird, but I was like, no.
Dan Bird.
Wow.
We would go with Dan Bird, and Dan, bless him, he would be high, and we would be having like the most fun time. We would be like sober as hell.
Supper Club. That was another one.
Yeah, Supper Club. And Dan would like take care of us. You know, he would be like,
Totally.
like, you know, they're for me. You know, because we were very, very close with Dan.
I don't think this happened like many times. No, it definitely
happened a handful. Whereas again, I think people knew we were like the good girls, and they would be like, they can roll with us. Like they're cool, but like they're straight edge.
Yeah.
You know, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's cool.
Did you guys do Easy A and Roommate together, or was that Cam Jagande who did both?
I was not in Roommate.
He was not-
Okay.
Is that the question, if I'm understanding it correctly? Yeah, I was not a roommate. Barely an Easy A. I get way more credit for it than is due.
No, okay. So you weren't in a roommate
We
together.
didn't even have scenes together, really. I don't think.
No, I think I remember us being together a few times, like maybe in the gym. There was like gym sequence.
Yeah, and we maybe
where-
had some meals like offsite.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because we were all in Ojai.
I remember the Ojai days really well. That was a
It was really charming.
great movie, great cast. I just swore that because that was all Clint Culpepper, right? That was
right. Oh, yeah.
Yep,
So I was like,
that's right. Yes.
I feel like
So Clint Culpepper was the head of Screen Gems, the studio that made that then, and they all must have made Roommate too,
they did.
right?
They made-
Yeah, that's why I just assumed you were in both. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like I feel probably like the last time I saw you was maybe a screening premiere.
Wow.
It must have been. I don't know when it would have been, but it's like sometime, like probably 15 years ago.
That's because Emma and her had become really close at that point. We had met Taylor Swift at the Easy A premiere because she came.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Because she came to be with Emma.
Yeah. And that was like the beginning. Gossip Girl after that, or was that happening? That was happening.
Gossip Girl was during all that because Easy A. I mean, Easy A, I remember getting the call from my manager. I think I'm like 21 or 22. I was probably 21, and I remember getting the call for like the script, and they said it's high school, and I was like, there's no fucking way that I can play a high schooler again. Like, guys, it just seems to be a stretch. Like, do I have to wear a backpack?
Yeah.
And I was like, literally, guys, I'm not gonna wear a fucking backpack. Like, I'm not gonna do it.
This is too much.
I'm a 22-year-old man. And here's it. Do you remember reading the script? The script was a hard R. The script was
Yes, I remember reading the script.
swearing.
I remember I read the script, I feel like, too, in its kind of early stages. And I remember it being really hard R. And my character specifically being really
yeah.
R. And
Yes, your
You're
character was
constantly
like,
saying bitch.
she was a,
Yeah.
Constantly.
And honestly, like, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like my role kind of like got shafted the most because some of the funniest stuff was the stuff that was like
It was the really obscene stuff. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's true. I don't remember anything well enough to be able to say like, no, but it turned out well. Like,
Right.
But actually, I have thought about that periodically throughout the years.
What's funny?
I don't think that it was. I mean, I think it was like a congenial bait and switch. I think the studio, Screen Gems, knew we are never making the R version of this. That's not marketable. But they did kind of get that phenomenal supporting adult cast because it was a refreshingly, quote
Yeah, it was like a
was,
team or super bad for,
Yeah. And with the hard R version on the page, it was like, wow, this is a really different. Like how it was really funny.
It grabbed everyone
and the right
immediately.
amount of subversive. And I remember, I don't know if you recall this, we shot both versions. Every scene had
You
the R
did?
version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every scene had the R version and had the PG.
Yeah, I remember.
Somebody
Wow.
needs to release the R version.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's a mine. What's that called?
Gold mine?
C word in
Gold
it.
mine.
It's
That's a
called
gold mine.
commercially viable, Nava. It's we're gonna have to
No,
learn
but
something about that.
A gold mine. That's a gold mine. I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe it hasn't been released.
Our version.
Yeah.
But yes, word in it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cutting edge. But and I don't think I had any scenes with Dan. But
And by the way, guys, for the listeners, Dan is in that film as well. Wait, so would you have met Dan during
I already
this
knew him.
filming? And
So
you already knew him.
I
Okay.
worked with Dan.
now this is a great 12-year-old story.
This is so dark.
This is dark.
I worked with Dan on The Guardian when I
Oh,
was
he was on
12.
The Guardian. Okay, all right.
And he guest starred, and he played my cousin who sexually assaulted me.
Oof.
And it was such a gnarly scene. They had to use a body double for my character. And Dan was so disturbed when he booked the role. And him and I got to know each other on set. And I'm this little girl that's like, he literally rapes my character in the show. Like, it's
Oh
awful.
my goodness.
And it was so heavy. And then Dan and I literally, like, after that show, like, we all became friends. Like, we to this day, we talk about, like, how insane is
Trauma bonding.
I think we also like had a similar. I mean, when you guys met, obviously, on set, but had like a similar sense of humor.
Very much.
Obviously, you were younger than Dan, but then once we started to get like closer and we all kind of met, it was kind of like, oh, like you're our type of person.
And then Dan
Yeah.
booked DZA with Aly, and it was like, oh, you're.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We're gonna have. And then it was like I had no scenes with him. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
I have so many questions. I just have to know, for that scene, how old was your character?
She was the 12, 13.
So they filmed it with a body double, like the audience sees the rape. They don't just like turn the camera away. That's
You don't
insane.
see the rape, but you see him like get on top of her like violently, and then they cut away, and you see like underwear get like pulled off like legs.
Yeah,
It's
it
awful.
is.
But it
It's
was
awful.
it was an adult body double who just was styled to look like a kid. She was tiny.
Yeah.
And like it's crazy how they did stuff like that. It was a CBS show, so they couldn't show
Yeah.
much.
I mean, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But so that was our intro to Dan. So yeah.
Dan is
Wow.
also a sweetheart. Dan
Dan
is
is smart.
An angel.
Yeah, I would think of him like a little bit of a guardian angel in that world of like, clubbing, because he's just got a good heart. You can't fall in with the wrong people when you're doing that.
100%. He's the kindest, like sweetest, funniest, wittiest guy I think I've ever met. And he's so not like a typical like quote unquote actor. That's what I think
no,
I
he's
love
not at
about
all.
these guys. It's like
Yeah,
him,
not a typical
Ravi, or
actor at all.
you guys don't have like the actor syndrome, which
Yeah.
we all know exists.
That is true. These are just like people that you like you know, would just be like dying laughing with, you know, at dinner or like, you know, driving to like a concert or something. Like just like you just have the absolute best time. Like, and we're still friends with him and his wife. We're still friends. We don't get to see Dan that much, but we saw him this past year.
With his daughter.
With his daughter, because they came.
That's amazing. Does he have one kid or more than one kid?
One.
Yeah.
He has one. I haven't seen Dan in years, but it's like he's the kind of person where at this point we probably see each other every like 5 or 6 years, and it's like we pick up right where we left off. We're like, all right, well, you know,
Totally, we'll see you in 5 years.
See you when I see you.
Yeah, no, it's
See you at our 50th.
His apartment was such a safe space that my memory of it. His apartment, because like I have really kind of a dark memory and orientation of that time. You know, you guys said that you sort of had there's a couple ways it can go, right? It can be very dark, it can be medio, it can be sort of grayish, or it can be like surprisingly not dark at all.
Yeah.
And I had kind of a dark turn of things, but his apartment was like very much just one of the safest spaces I remember in it all.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm sorry that you had such a rough.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's wrote a book about it if you want to get.
Did you really?
Well, we wrote a book. Nava, hold it up right there.
Oh, I do know this.
Yeah.
I've seen your guys' post about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
But we gotta read it and get traumatized. Yeah. No, his apartment was, you're right, like a spot that felt like safe and that you could just have fun and be yourself. I think like his contact in my phone is literally a photo of me wearing like red goggles that he had like in his house that were just like scooping around. And that's like contact, and that's the contact photo. That's cute, pretty funny.
Let's talk about your music even more than we have. It feels like your first like really big hit is Potential Breakup Song. Is that true?
Yeah.
I would say the first like big single was Rush. Like that is really what kicked it off. Like that, at least in the Disney Channel world, No One, Rush, those two hit.
But none of these songs were radio hits. Like if you think about it, these songs are like they're just kind of sleepers in a way.
Okay.
Yeah, they were hits in their own way, but in a very insular way. But Potential Breakup Song was probably the biggest. Yeah. But Rush,
maybe the fan base building, because it sounds like though you've got lifelong kind of hardcore fans.
No, we do. I do feel like we have like lifers, which is amazing, and not many people can say that. So it obviously does speak to the music. I just don't think we ever had like the typical quote unquote like hit single. You know what I mean? Like we never really like cracked the Billboard 10. We never we never got on the radio in a way that was like, oh wow, they've really.
Yeah, I think
we were too young. It just didn't.
We were too young, which is funny, given that now so many people, which is great.
There's no age
break at a really young age. But like, if you said, hey, we're gonna put a 16 and 14-year-old cover, on Z100 artist on Z100, they just not mean. Like they're children. They belong on, Radio Disney. So like, yeah, I mean, the music now, which is funny, has changed, I think, so drastically from Potential Breakup Song in a way like that. I feel like people still know like, oh, that's Aly and AJ, but it feels like the music has really evolved from those days,
but there's such a core following who have stuck with us since the beginning that they're willing to like totally just stay on the ride, even though it's completely different music, which is really
cool. And we always play like Potential Breakup Song and Rush and No One and stuff, at shows. Like, we're very inclusive, like wanting to give the fans those songs because I think it's important. And we try to think of going to concerts ourselves and wanting to hear the songs that are our favorite songs from the artist,
Yeah. That's very generous.
I want to be selfish and just be like, I'm only playing you the new stuff. But I think it's important, and it is fun to play.
How did it feel to have that song come back into like huge popularity on social media? Yeah. How did that feel for you guys?
It's crazy because in some ways it feels like Potential Breakup Song got bigger just from the TikTok world than it was when it first came out.
Itself, yeah.
So it not only had a resurgence, but I almost think surpassed what it was in the beginning. It's crazy. I mean, it really surprised Aly and I when that year hit and we saw that song had taken off in a new way. I think a lot of the people that discovered that song weren't really, they didn't know about the song when it first came out because they were so young. So they were either being introduced to it through like a sibling or maybe an older friend, or I don't know how some of these people even got to know Potential Breakup Song, but it landed on TikTok in a way that was like, wow, how is this generation picking this song up right now? But some people think, it was a brand new song, which was also hilarious, and we ended up just kind of just fully committing to it and going, all right, we weren't really going to join this TikTok craze.
We just committed to the bit and said, all right,
Let's
you
just.
re-recorded it, right?
We did. We re-recorded it, an R-rated version, if you will.
Yeah. We say fuck.
The original Easy A version. Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's a Harvard R. We see the C word in it. It's crazy. No. And it's so we literally play that version now live, and it's like it's just fun. I think everyone just feels like it's a way to release their inner child, and it's always so fun actually to play that song live. It doesn't really get old, even though we play it all the time.
It's so good. I can't get over how intertwined the making of Silver Deliverer is with your birth, Aly. It's just the fact that you went and recorded a week after your son was born and brought him with you. The way you described it, I've heard you describe it, sounds so beautiful.
Thank you.
But having been postpartum myself, like 1 week, just it's like I have so many questions, like logistically. I don't think we need to get into that, but I just want to hear more about that time and what that recording was like.
I love talking about this moment. I think part of the reason is because it was a really positive birth, and I think the reason why it was a positive birth was I was reading a lot of and watching a lot of positive births and birth stories. And I really got just fascinated with this whole space. And Pen, I know, Domino has been in this world for years now. And I really went into it completely blind. And I just was like, I want to learn as much as I possibly can about just how to get through this labor. And these are the things that I'm really wanting to get from my labor. And these are the things I'm really not willing to negotiate. And that in some roundabout way, brought me to the home birth space, which is kind of crazy because that's not where we started. It was I was going to go in Cedars, the famous doctor that's, delivering all the famous babies vibes. And then it was weird. It's just it took 2-3 little things that was a trickle down effect. And then next thing I know, I'm telling my husband, I think I should have a home birth. And he's like, huh?
Wow.
And we're yeah, let's meet a midwife. Let's do this. And then I'm telling AJ and she's like, I'm into it. Let's do this.
From the get-go, I was like, done, you can do it. I support you fully.
And,
Amazing.
And then I think again, because it was this really dream birth situation, I think my postpartum was so positive and I was on such a high. I was like, yeah, let's get back to the studio. I gotta cut those vocals. The baby is great. And we the umbilical cord was burned in our bed. And we're just Steve and I are just on this high. And AJ's also in this baby high too. She comes over, 2 days after I've given birth in Santa Barbara.
I'm surprised you weren't there to catch it, frankly.
Honestly.
Same.
AJ.
Yeah. I should have been.
I
met him 2 days later. I'm very upset I didn't catch him.
Yeah. 48 hours?
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Very long time.
Too long if you ask me.
But yeah, we were already in the middle of, long story short, we were in the middle of already recording. We'd started pre-production.
He came early.
He came 2.5 weeks early. So we were we knew we were really riding it close, but we were it's my first pregnancy. I'll probably be late. We've got 3 weeks, to really perfect. This record, and it'll probably be
which is plenty of time. We thought we're going to be done with this by the time he comes.
And then literally, I'm not kidding you, we had 1 day of pre-pro, which I'm actually so glad we had. The second day, it's my water breaks at AJ's house in Laurel Canyon, and the studio is in Topanga Canyon, and we just are oh, we got to immediately leave. We're out. She trails us with her boyfriend to get us all set up at the house in Santa Barbara,
Wow.
and then she's kind of bye, I love you, leaving, knowing the next time I see you, you're gonna probably have a kid, which is weird. That was a very specific sister moment.
Crazy. And then I went back to Topanga.
Yeah, she went back to Topanga. She helped cut the band. I'm on a Zoom link, kind of just yeah, it sounds great. In kind of some light contractions, but it's not really heavy duty yet.
Yeah, there was
Wow,
one
yeah.
day where she really was adamant about I need to be involved in a Zoom.
I was
session.
having such FOMO.
but she's got like she's dealing with contractions, and we're all just kind of like, okay, you can go now. Like it's all good.
It's so wild.
And then eventually it was like,
All of a sudden, like the camera went black, and I'm like, I think we can end this
I think
session.
we're good. And then it was kind of like, I don't know, maybe 24 hours later or something, probably, yeah, kind of vibe he was delivered. But yeah, we just like, you know, we'd already rented this house in Topanga, and Jonathan Wilson, who produced the album, is just like such a salt of the earth, wonderful human, and was
Really lovely musician.
down.
I love his work.
He's amazing and the coolest human being.
Yeah, he truly. And he also, funny enough, had just found out that he was, that they were pregnant, which was really cool. So we were in this like bubble of like, whoa, this is wild.
Yeah.
Like, we just found out that, you know, your wife is like, you know, only like maybe like a month in. And
Was it there first by chance?
their first, yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's a
so-
big threshold.
So Jack, we literally brought to the studio on day 7, I think. And we brought all of the stuff that we kind of needed. And I remember like I got a little bit emotional, like when we checked into the Airbnb, you know, that we were at. You know this, right? Like I kind of started crying, like, did I do the right thing that like we're here? And like, you know, 'cause I was used to our little bubble a little bit, you know, and it wasn't like it was like bad vibes or anything. It was just kind of like, I think I was also kind of exhausted, you know, I was still like healing.
And feeling a little guilty. Is it okay that we took
Like, is it okay? And we took him out of Santa Barbara and are doing this. And my husband was just like, we can drive back home right now if you want, you know? And I was kind of like, let's like just give it like a couple days. And if I feel really bad and it's not right, like, then we'll just like, you know, go back home. And then like cut to, it's like, you know, I'm holding the baby and like cutting vocals while he's like feeding, you know? It was just like, and that baby just.
Were you actually? You were holding him?
Oh, yeah,
attached to
yeah,
him?
yeah. There's like a lot of photos. We have actually really cool video of like him. I mean, he is so tiny. I'm like, this is psychotic.
There's moments where it's like I'm holding him in the control room with his giant headphones on and Aly singing, and then we switched so that I could go sing and Aly was with them. So we had a really good.
Jonathan's holding him.
Jonathan's holding him.
I mean, like my husband's there, you know, helped. And my husband was also so like in the trenches with us too, you know, like this
Yeah.
wouldn't be possible if I didn't have a husband. It was like, yeah, like while you're cutting vocals, I'm just here with him. And like,
Very
you know, I would pump if I kind of need, I didn't really even need to. I was just, he was just there in the studio. So like when I
Wow.
sing, I just come right back and then be like, oh, he's been asleep for 3 hours. Like just keep him sitting.
And then the cool thing is we all lived, so because Jonathan was in Topanga and Aly and I didn't want to do the drive every day, like we all ended up living in the same house together. So it was me, Aly, the newborn, Steven, my partner.
Steven and AJ's partner, like cooking all these beautiful. They were
That's
like,
actually great because immediately postpartum, you need a lot of different kinds of support, like social, practical. Just it's such a huge change that new parents go through, and it's also like deeply spiritual portal energy.
So
like
true.
I think even the deepest of like nihilistic atheists, when you live through, when you finally just see like how everybody gets here, you're like, what?
yes.
How,
Yeah.
this is how this is happening all the
happens?
time
Yeah.
like this? It's like where
All
we
the
just
time.
pop
Everybody
out
does
from
this.
nowhere.
Everybody's done this.
And that you need, you know, we're obviously when we look back on our like ancestors, we really relied on our communities, right? You know, we're like
Oh yeah,
someone about
cooking.
yeah, someone's cooking, like the doula that's there that is
yeah. You need
you know, that is like helping tend to you, or it's like I think in birth, we know there's a lot of fear around birth, which, you know, I'm always trying to talk to my girlfriends that are newly pregnant or have never been pregnant. I'm like, you don't need to be afraid. Like our bodies are meant to do this. Like so much of this is like just in our DNA, and like we're so powerful and we're so capable. But like outside of that, a lot of it is like it can be isolating in a way where this should be the least isolating moment. You know, it should be you leaning on a sibling or a family member or a friend that comes by with a meal, you know. And thankfully in those first, you know, 3-4 weeks, it was like we were around so many people in community,
it's
which
awesome, and making
so
art, which is
beautiful.
cool. That's like a cool that it's just like imbued
Yeah.
in it. You know, even the name Silver. Did you have the name Silver Deliverer then?
We already
You
did.
Yeah, we already did. And we talk about how, I mean, we were joking, but it is kind of funny that like my midwife has this beautiful long silver hair. And I was like, she is the silver
Yeah,
deliverer.
the
She
Silver
is the
Deliverer.
It's crazy.
But like, yeah, it just felt very, I don't know, it felt very just meant to be that the album will be called that. Given that like birth was such a huge thing that was on my mind, that was on AJ's mind. You you know, and I think that like the album really like encompasses what we were trying to get at, which was like this like celebration of like femininity and life and these changes, and also death too. You know, we went through a really hard the year prior to making the album, and we wrote a song about it on the record in a way that like we'd never really written a song about before. And then also just like, you know, a song about kind of like embracing womanhood and the changes that come with that. A song about my son, but at that point, like, I didn't know I was having a son. I just knew I was, you know, having a child, and we wrote this song for him. So it was very like, it was all meant to be. I mean, I would all just rewind and do it again and again on like a second. It was just so cool. And it was
That's
like
so nice.
one of those things where we'll never make an album like that, you know, again. But it was very much like a time capsule of that energy that we were able to experience together. It was so precious.
And it's crazy. Like, I know, I'm sure tons of parents say this, and I'm sure a bunch of aunts have claimed this, that they've seen this in their nephew, and it's totally fair. I think all kids are drawn to music, but it is wild when you see this kid, when he hears music. It's instant. He's just like immediately moving, like his whole spirit just moves and grooves with music as soon as he hears a beat. I mean, it's wild.
Wow.
And so I do think that being that was such a huge part of his life so early on, it's so embedded in him. I mean, it doesn't mean necessarily he doesn't have to be a musician. He can do whatever he wants, but like music internally in him is such a thriving part of his body. Well, it's wild.
It's funny because my husband mentions that like when we did that pre-production day, I think there was like us singing some songs, and he was like, it was loud, you know, like, and you're pretty pregnant. He's like, this kid wanted to get out of there. He was like,
I need headphones.
Sticks up in this joint. I'm out.
So funny.
Sad about that. I don't know. I was like, maybe he was just like,
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm ready. I'm ready to be in the studio and listen to these songs get cut, you know, real time.
Move.
So sweet.
Well, we heard that you have an upcoming tour. Is it the Places to Run tour? If that's accurate. Yeah. Can you tease something for your fans? Can you tease a little something that they can expect on that tour?
We're really excited. I mean, this is essentially an extension of the Silver Deliverer tour from this last run. You know, Aly and I didn't feel like we had really hit enough spots. I mean, we're so excited about this music. We're so excited about this record. And sometimes when you go out and tour an album and you end the tour, you're kind of like, wow, that chapter's closed. I guess we'll go make a new record. And for us, it's like Silver Deliverer still feels like a very present part of our lives. So we were like, let's add 40 more shows to the tour and see what happens. And for Aly and I, we thrive when we're on stage. Like, we love it. We love being at the studio, but we love being on the road. And we've had such a good experience the last couple months coming off of the Silver Deliverer tour.
We didn't know how it would be.
We didn't know how it would be with an almost 2-year-old, and it was fantastic. And we're really lucky that we have an amazing band and crew around us. And Aly had help, and we had 2 buses, which we were very blessed that we had. And so now we're like, well, let's do this again and let's make the show a little different. Like, let's add some more songs. Let's take away a couple songs that maybe have already been heard. Let's put out a couple new songs in the new year and also tour those. Visually, it'll be similar, but we're going to do different, a different VIP activation. We're going to do slightly different merch. Like, there will be changes to the tour, but it's essentially, an extension of the Silver Deliverer tour.
We just wanted more and more.
Yeah, just do it more.
That's amazing. There was a video you guys made maybe on your last tour, like pre-show, pre-gaming the show or something, and it was like all of you on toddler instruments and toys.
Yes.
Doing that.
Well, we have a whole set up backstage that's like,
I think we were singing like Vanessa Carlton.
Yeah, we were doing something, and the band was like playing with Jack. He's kind of got like a whole system where it's like all of his little toys and stuff get rolled out, and you just kind of like walk in the halls with like a tambourine and a harmonica, and it's like
he's big into the harmonica.
He's just like a little road dog.
That's cool.
It's very cool. I think it'll be a cool childhood. I mean, he'll probably be so like, he'll probably think that
he'll either be so over it or be like, I got to do this with my life.
Yeah, it'll be one or the other. But it'll be very normal to him, which is so funny. It's like. That's just such a trip to be like a kid that's just like, oh yeah, no, I live on a tour bus for like half the year.
Yeah.
It's like normal.
Wow.
Yeah. So it'll take us full circle, which we ask everybody. So maybe this one, AJ, you'll go first. If you could go back to 12-year-old AJ, what would you say or do, if anything?
I think I would tell myself to embrace and hold on to like the childlike wonder in life longer than even most people want to hold on to it for. I think a lot of us want to get into our like teen years and our adult years, and we feel like, okay, it's time to shed the child skin. And it's like, I would want to say to myself, like, hang on to that as long as possible. Because once it's gone, it's totally gone. Like, you don't get those moments again where you're cuddled up with your parents because you got scared and you're sleeping in their bed. Like, those moments are gone, and then you don't get them back. So I would just say to soak up every moment, to not grow up too fast, and to just really, really enjoy the moment of being a kid and thrive in them.
How about you, Aly?
I mean, I think that is a great one, and I would probably want to say the same.
And I think we followed that a little bit.
Yeah,
Should you think? I don't think that was missing, and I'm wishing.
Yeah, like we didn't like grow up too fast. I think in the grand scheme of things, like being in the industry, I think
made us grow up a little faster.
Yeah, it made us grow up a little faster than we would have. But we also like moved out of our parents' house when we were like 21 and 23, which is late.
Wow. Yeah.
So we soaked it up. And then we like moved in together, you know, so we were like right first place together. So like our childhood still feels very like, it's very easy to kind of dip in that pond and access. But like childlike wonder and innocence is like so precious and so special that I would say the same thing. The other thing that I would say is I would be like, it's really important that you keep taking piano lessons and you find a teacher that you're actually really passionate about and click with, that makes it feel fun and not like a chore. Because that, as you know, as work started getting more and more consistent,
Less practice,
less time to practice, and then you just kind of drop off and you're like, now I don't take classes, so therefore I'm not able to sight read. Like I would love to be able to sight read. That's a really but like I would tell my 12-year-old self, like, you're really gonna want to sight read in your in your older years.
We've told people before. It's funny. Our family would laugh. They all like,
every musician goes, "Don't you do that?" Hairs. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I would like it for me. It would just be cool to sit down and just play. Like,
No, because it does unlock something. That's
it would be a great tool to have. Do I think that sometimes it puts us in a box in a writing scenario that's actually good? Yeah, I do.
yeah.
But that would be something that I would like love to like rewind time and just like, yeah.
And then I think I would say well, I don't know. I think it was so meant to be. We did take those years. But I think in the moment, I would want to tell myself, don't take 10 years off of making music.
Yeah.
Like keep, not like you have to commit to it full time, like keep plowing through the acting thing. But like, I think in general, Aly and I not touring for 10 years and not actively putting out music for 10 years in a way is kind of a shame.
In our 20s is like,
it was like,
that was the moment, our peak, you know? So it's funny that kind of like went into the shadows.
Yeah.
The acting was really happening at the moment, and we were kind of like lost in trying to find out who we were as artists. Eventually got to the other side of that, but 10 years is like a long time.
So long time,
you know? So yeah, I would probably be like, don't go away. Like, just keep touring. Even if it's not new music, you know, keep going out there and shows.
Thank you guys so
both
much for
so
coming
much for
on.
coming on.
Thank you. It was
this was so nice to talk about our childhood. And thank God it was a good one. Otherwise, we wouldn't want to have this in it.
That's true.
That's true.
So encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys are really sweet and fun. This was awesome.
You can get tickets to Aly and AJ's Places to Run 2026 tour on their website, alyandaj.com. That's Aly, ALY. And you can check out their album on all streaming platforms.
Podcrushed is hosted by Penn Badgley, Nava Kavalin, and Sophie Ansari. Our senior producer is David Ansari, and our editing is done by Clips Agency. Special thanks to the folks at Lemonada. And as always, you can listen to Podcrushed ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership. Okay, that's all. Bye.